everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Have you ever felt super clear about who you are until somebody gives you feedback that totally surprises you? Or maybe you're great at reading the room, but you have no idea what you really want. So today, you're going to discover your self-awareness type and get 3 targeted tips to grow from where you are today. Recognizing the types will also help you understand those you love and where they are on their journey and how you might be able to assist them in growing their own awareness. So, what is self-awareness? Self-awareness has 2 axes to it. Internal self-awareness is how well you understand your values, your motives, your feelings, your strengths, and your limitations. External self-awareness is how well you understand how others see you, your impact in society, blind spots that you don't fully understand with society. Where you land on these axes creates 4 different types. Now listen carefully, because you will find that you fall into one category more than others. Type number 1, seekers, which is low internal and low externals. Seekers still figuring out who they are and how they come across. They often feel stuck or inconsistent. If you think something like, I don't really know what I want, and I'm not sure how other people perceive me, you're probably a seeker. Number 2, pleasers, which is a low internal and high external. Pleasers are excellent at reading what other people expect. They're less connected to their own needs. Their choices drift away from genuine fulfillment. If you think to yourself, I always sense what others need, but I rarely choose what I need to myself, you're probably a pleaser. Type number 3, introspectors, which is high internal awareness and low external awareness. Introspectors have a strong sense of identity and goals. They don't invite or integrate feedback from the outside. Their blind spots limit relationships and results. Sometimes can be very introverted as well. If you think to yourself, I know myself, people just don't get me or get it, you're probably an introspector. The 4th type is the aware type, which is high internal and high external. Aware know what they stand for, and they actively calibrate with inputs from others. This is where self-awareness compounds into leadership and life satisfactory. Also, a balance between self and society. If you think to yourself, I'm clear on me, and I actively calibrate with others, you're probably in the 4th category, aware. People that have a high internal awareness, they can name top 3 values for themselves. They know what energizes them, and they know what drains them. They can explain the why behind every goal that they have in life. And people with a high external awareness can predict how their behavior lands or is observed by others. They can regularly ask for feedback and they make changes according to that feedback, so they're open to changes. And they would say that they listen probably pretty well. Sometimes too well, because they don't actually say anything, they just listen. Now that we went through the 4 different types, let me explain each type's pitfalls. From these 4 types, remember which type you are, because we're going to go through each type. We're going to talk about the pitfalls of each type, and I'm going to give you some tips of how you can grow from that type up. So the typical pitfalls for a seeker will be that the seekers are identity hoppers. They're chasing the latest book, the latest guru or friend group. They're always looking for something external to themselves. Another thing about seekers is that they have this type of a shame spiral. I should know who I am by now. I'm not doing enough. And this type of shame freezes any type of action. So here are a few tips to grow awareness for a seeker. Number 1 is the value sprint. Seekers forget their own values and need to be reminded. They don't really know themselves, and this is why they keep seeking outside of themselves. What a seeker should do is make a tiny action in multiple fields each day and ask themselves, which action felt like me? And then just keep with what sticks, drop what doesn't. This is how seekers get to know themselves. Another tip for seekers is micro experiments to big decisions. Seekers should probably treat their identity like a lab. Instead of going out with the next big change in your life, start very small and keep track of your energy levels, because they're going to tell you if you're going in the right direction or not. Just like people, some of them take energy and some of them give energy. And the last advice for a seeker is to have a two-way feedback ritual. Choose one person at work and one in your personal life and ask them every once in a while, what am I doing that really works for me? And then reflect back what you hear from them. Awareness type number 2, the pleasers. To grow in awareness, you need to reconnect your needs without losing empathy or growing an ego. Some typical pitfalls for pleasers can be approval addiction, which pleasers are chasing social likes, compliments over true meaning in their life. Another pitfall for pleasers is to have invisible resentment. Why? Because they keep saying yes to everything, but inside they feel like no. 3 tips for pleasers on how to grow your awareness. Number 1, you want to create a list of non-negotiables. You want to know your values, know your worth. And then the 24-hour yes rule. If somebody asks or requests something of you and you immediately say yes, stop yourself and let yourself check with yourself and get back tomorrow. So instead of saying immediately yes, because you aim to please, and that's your gut instinct, you're gonna wait and feel if this decision is coming from the right place or from a place of pleasing. Type number 3, introspectors. To grow in awareness, keep your strong core and widen your view. The typical pitfall for introspectors is the feedback blindness, meaning interpreting feedback from people as an attack or just noise or annoyance. In other words, you have to listen to society and other people. Sometimes it's overconfidence, mistaking clarity of mind for correctness. In other words, you think you're always right, With introspectors, you can also find relationships are difficult because around them, people feel unheard or unnoticed. So here are 2 tips to grow for introspectors. Number 1, you want to find someone to argue any opposite opinion you might have and open yourself up to others' opinions as well. Number 2, you also want to have an impact round. Ask yourself, what is your intent with a reality that is outside of yourself? You might not enjoy life because you are not yet aware of its meaning to you. And last, people that are aware. People who are aware supposedly made it, Most of the people that I meet in their initiations that I teach are consider themselves to be aware to different degrees. The typical pitfalls of aware people is first, the ego, meaning a mindset of I'm already good at that or I already know. Or being everybody's mirror and losing time and energy. In other words, you take upon yourself too much. Or still overthinking about things that you can't really change. In other words, your mind is going to the future, to the past. You're taking responsibility for things that are happening in the planet. You get annoyed by things that you read in the news, things you cannot really change. If you're considered balanced and aware, you're probably going to seek adventures that are beyond the scope or normality for your own growth. You might also feel secluded from society or just misunderstood by society. So let's put it all together. If you're a seeker, your growth word is clarify. Small experiments beat big declarations. If you're a pleaser, your word is align. Boundaries are not walls. If you're an introspector, your word is integrate. Keep your strong inner compass and add radar you trust and open yourself up to the world. If you're aware, your word is compound. Keep calibrating, keep stretching, keep connecting awareness to outcomes. So for all of us, here are the best questions that will help you become more self-aware. What am I feeling about this, about that, now, later? What impact do I intend to have in reality, in the world? What actually happened or how did I really feel? Compare your expectation to reality. And remember, self-awareness isn't a personality label. It's a practice. Namaste, my friends. If you enjoy my material, please find me on YouTube. And if you wish to join any workshop that I do, check out my online and in personal workshops at raymaor.com. Namaste.